It's the Sportsline Podcast on the CHCH multimedia platform. I'm your host, Bubba O'Neill. Hey, with the warm weather now upon us, that means a shift to focus for the sports that are hot. Here in Southern Ontario, we're about to chat with one of the hottest properties that, folks, is in its 106th year of operation. Intercounty Baseball League is the top independent baseball league in this country, and the reigning champions hail from the Rose City. In fact, in a matter of only 3 seasons, the Welland Jackfish have become the top franchise to blueprint on and off the diamond. Today, we meet the president of the Jackfish, Ryan Harrison, who is also known as the director of fun. And folks, as you observe his resume, it's pretty easy to understand why. If you go to one Jackfish game, it'll hook you for life. Ryan Harrison, this is really cool to have you here. I know there's been a lot of social media jabbing back and forth, but it's great to get you in here to the Sportsline Podcast to talk about your product, which is just moving and grooving.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we're having a lot of fun down in Welland. There's something going on there that we didn't think we'd ever get to. But yeah, it's a great time.
Hey, let's talk about your personal sports history first before we kind of get into the IBL and the Jackfish. I mean, we look at that resume card, and there you're a jack of all trades. But really, the jack of all trades kind of narrowed into one thing that I've noticed: marketing and social media. I guess that's the basis of what you do?
Yeah, I mean, I've done a little bit of everything and all kinds of different sports, and not just here in Canada, but in the United States. And yeah, it's really boils down to marketing, and that's what my niche is. And it's kind of out of the box marketing when it comes to especially the Jackfish. The things we try to do there is I wouldn't say it's revolutionary or anything like that, but it's just trying to bring the American style of entertainment up here, which I don't think has really been done in the last, ever maybe.
Was this something that you kind of always wanted to do when you're, kind of growing up? You wanted to be involved in sports, at least on the other side, not on the field or the diamond?
I mean, I definitely want to be involved in sports. I remember as a kid, funny enough, in elementary school, we were running like road hockey leagues and stuff like that, like just crazy things like that. I think I always thought I was going to go on the path of like league management or something like that, and then I dabbled into the marketing side of things, and I fell in love with that. So that's kind of where I kind of push myself towards. I was in Hamilton for a couple of years doing the Bulldogs in the American League, and that was a lot of fun. And be able to come back now to my own business and do pretty much whatever I want.
You're Burlington resident. Burlington native.
I used to, yeah.
Okay.
I now live in Thorold, but originally from Burlington, born and raised. And that's where I started in the IBL, because I started interning for I think they were called the Twins at the time, back, I don't know how many years, I think like year 14 now in this league.
Yeah.
So that's where I really got my start, was there, and then kind of it just took off from that point.
I guess what we need to know and establish, because I know I get this question a lot, because people have heard of the IBL, but I don't think they know what the IBL is. Maybe you can explain.
Yeah, the IBL really is, it's a semi-pro league. It's a little bit of everything in our league. There's a mixture of guys that have played the major league level, who are just kind of, finishing up playing in a competitive league back home. We have individuals who, just finished college ball and want to make it up to the higher leagues, which happens from time to time. And we had 2 pitchers in the last couple of years that got signed affiliated deals with, I believe, the Angels and the Brewers. Then you have individuals who are locals, who they just want to play for their hometown team, and they work a day job and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of everything. And I would call our baseball, it's just very highly entertaining baseball. A lot of runs, a lot of crazy plays. I know one year for our team, I think it was 2022, we led the league in stolen bases with like 60. So just stuff like that you're not going to see at a major league level or anything like that. So
I guess I can kind of compare it, and I'm sure you're probably familiar with this league, the Allen Cup Hockey League. And we had Don Robertson in here the other day. Again, a lot of players that are either just finished up junior that want to continue to play, or some old former pros that just can't give it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like that. It's actually quite a bit different. Majority of our teams do have players that are moving to the towns that they're playing for. So, like, for example, for our team, I believe at this point right right now we have 13 players that have moved to town from either outside of the province, so BC, Alberta, stuff like that,
right,
or from Dominican Republic, Cuba. We have a Panamanian player on our team. They're actually living in Welland, and all they're doing is playing baseball.
Okay.
So it's quite a bit different there. Where I know the Island Cup League, I actually referee hockey, and I refereed that league before. They don't really have import players.
Yes.
They also don't have guys that are just focusing on playing hockey. They have day jobs.
Right.
And that's why I call it semi-pro for our league, because we have guys that they're just here to play baseball, and that's it. But we also have individuals like our starting center fielder. He works a regular financial day job. So it's a happy medium of both worlds. It's actually leaning towards more of a professional feel. I don't think it'll ever be a full professional league, just because there's things that go into making that happen. But our standards are becoming more professional. So when you come to our games, especially in Welland or places like London or actually Hamilton now, where you'll see there's really no difference on the production that goes on for those games versus going to, let's say, a Bison's game at Buffalo or other minor league teams.
When I look at this league, can you kind of compare? Because I know baseball, you kind of think, they think triple A. Would it be like an A league?
Probably be like a rookie league,
okay,
or like a short season A, I would say. So the league that we, I guess, are closest to would be the Frontier League. So Ottawa has a team, Quebec has a team, Trois-Rivières. So we do actually have a lot of players that will go up to the Frontier League from our teams. We actually have our starting shortstop who's playing right now in Trois-Rivières. So, and they're very comparable. So for example, this preseason we played the team out of Quebec. They're champions. We actually held our own very well in those games. And really what it came down to, for the most part, wasn't so much the overall skill level. It was the pitching. They just had more depth pitching than we did. And which was really great to see that we could hold our own with teams in higher leagues, and that our quality of baseball is right there.
Right. So you take a look at what your history was, and I guess you said you were involved with the Burlington franchise. Yep. I kind of remember the Herd. I think it was one of the incarnations of the Burlington franchise, and you were there. What makes Ryan Harrison say, I'm going to give this a go? And Welland hadn't been touched. I think the Pirates go way back in terms of a sort of A-level baseball. What was that decision? What tweaked you and said, I'm going to try something here?
So it was actually kind of a happy coincidence. So back when it was the last few years of the Burlington Bandits, when the old owner owned it there, I was actually working for the Hamilton Bulldogs, and I remember him calling me because I was quite close with him, and he said, "Hey, listen, I'm trying to sell this team because I'm having some health issues. I can't hold on to it anymore. You should buy the team." And I said, well, I don't have money of any kind to buy a baseball team. And he says, okay, no problem. So, obviously you don't. So 2 months later, he calls me back and he says, no, seriously, I got to sell this team. I go, that's okay. But I didn't win the lottery, so I don't have money still. So he gave me kind of a sweetheart deal. He said, why don't you find a group of guys, put them together, and maybe we can make a deal. I found 2 individuals who are still involved in the team to this day, and we bought the team from him in the thoughts of, we're going to make this work in Burlington. Well, if you've ever been to Nelson Park, it's not the greatest setup for a semi-pro baseball team. It's actually not a great setup for a lot of things, but we tried it the first year, lost money, went back there the second year hoping we could really make an impact with the hopes of, down the line, some stadium improvements. We met with the city of Burlington. There was nowhere on their timeline that they were going to do any improvements to this park. And at that point, we decided it was either we're going to fold the team or we were going to move it somewhere else. And actually, we were down the line of trying to actually fold the team because at the time, it's just a passion project. Like, it's just a hobby, right? So who wants to lose money on a hobby every year, especially the money we were? And I decided one last thing, we were already starting to sell off assets to recover some costs and things like this. And I said, okay, let's pump the brakes a little bit here. Let's see if there is another facility that we could go to. My wife has family in Welland, so I knew the stadium was sitting there. I just never been there to tour it. And I can't remember if it was July or August of that year of 2018. I walked in to the gates, and I'll never forget the caretaker at the time of the field said, I hope you don't need fans to make this work. And I said, what do you mean? He said, you might get 200 people. I was like, oh, okay. And at the time, the IBL did not an exhibition game. Hamilton did an off-site game there because they didn't have any field availability at Bernie Arbor. And it was decently attended, but nothing crazy. And so I walked in, I looked at the field, and right away I called our then commissioner, John Kastner. I said, John, we we got to move here. Like, I don't know how there isn't a team here already. It doesn't make sense. I mean, the geography is not that bad. It's just 45 minutes down from Hamilton, or 40 minutes really. It's not that far. So we gave it a go. We moved all our stuff down actually in November at 8 o'clock at night. I'll never forget walking to the building. They gave us a key, open the door, and the alarm goes off. The whole building. The whole place just erupts. If anybody in Welland's heard this alarm, it's like a nuclear warning alarm. That's what it sounds like. It's the loudest thing I've ever heard.
And there's a residential element of town there.
So in November at 8 o'clock, it's pitch black, right? So there's a whole thing going off. And actually, it's funniest part about the story is there was cops down at the end of the parking lot. That's where they do some of their training, their SWAT team stuff. And so they see this thing going off, and they come over thinking we're breaking into the place. And we had to explain to them we were just moving in. But anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So all that's water on the bridge. We do our press conference, which I just saw on the screen. They showed, and that was great. And, we didn't, from that comment of, there it is right there, 200-300 people, were like, okay, how many people are going to show up to this? So open the gates for game one on, I think it was May 18th, 2019, and 1,100 people show up. And we got something here. So at the time, I was working for a company doing team sales for Under Armour and Adidas. And after that game, I think it was 2 weeks after that game over, I left that, and I went full-time into the baseball team.
That's amazing. What a great story. And that no risk, no reward. I mean,
lots of risk.
I mean, huge risk, obviously, but no reward. And it is actually paying off 3 years later in the sense that you have developed a team. You've got I think as any president would do, you get the right people doing the right jobs. You have the baseball people taking care of the baseball stuff.
Yeah, I never really played, so it's not up my alley.
That's a smart thing to do. And I'm sure you probably oversee a little bit. But at the end of the day, your specialty and your history starts to take over, your history of marketing and getting to attract people to games. And if I can say this from the sidelines, this is what's attracted me to watching what you guys have been doing, because you're doing it completely different than everyone else. And what I've noticed is that the rest of the IBL are following your lead.
They're trying to get up to what we're doing, what we're doing. For when I tell people we want to be the best, I don't mean just the IBL. I mean, we want to be the best show around, and that's, against any other sports entity out there, Hamilton down, or actually in Ontario. We want to be, well-renowned in this province for being an unbelievable show you can't miss. So if you come down to Niagara for, go see the fall, stay for a weekend, part of your plan should be come to the Jackfish game, because it's just such it's hard to explain. You have to go to a game to realize the atmosphere we have there. And it's not just me putting on a crazy outfit and running around the stadium and doing these crazy promos. And, we started this new thing where we start shooting whitey-tighty underwear with our logo on it out of our T-shirt cannon. It's not just that stuff. It's our fan base. And this is kudos to the people in Welland and Niagara region as a whole. They've made it kind of a family feel there. So when I walk in, I see the fans that are there. They are like family. We have these season ticket holders, these sisters who come in, every other week and bring me coffees and treats. And I have 2 daughters. They sew stuff for my daughters. I had my daughter's birthday party at the park last Saturday because that was her birthday, and 3,200 people were singing happy birthday to her. So it's just such a cool feel to be there and hear the fan base. They create their own chants for these players. They get to go on the field after the game and get to know them. And I tell my players this all the time. I said, for the most part, our fans come here to games and they don't know who you are and not necessarily care about your ability for the most part. They just want to come to entertainment, and they don't really know or fall in love with you until after the game they go on the field and they meet you, realize how much of a great human being you are, get an autograph, and then next week they're buying your jersey. And that's what I tell the players that don't even know us or have never been to a game. We had a player come in from BC, and I said, listen, someone's going to buy your jersey. Someone's going to want your jersey with your name and your number on the back, and they'll be walking around with it, and they just thought it was the coolest thing they've ever heard.
Well, and I think this works obviously because Welland doesn't really have a pro team elsewhere. You mean they had nothing really to follow for people to grab onto to call their own. Yeah. And here's the thing, the community involvement works. Here's something I think too, and maybe you'll understand this too on a sports level too. Your logo and your clothing and all your paraphernalia is really cool. And I think that's important in sports.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time on the name. We spent a lot of time on the logo and the colors and all that kind of stuff. And over time, we've actually done, like you see the shirt I'm wearing right now. So we started to do more things. Like a lot of teams will just slap their logo on something and it's just that, like, you know, everybody does the same thing. We started to develop merchandise. We're not the first ones to do this, obviously, but merchandise that you can wear anytime, every day. Like this hat you can wear anytime. Absolutely. It's kind of a cool looking hat. We have all kinds of clothing like that. We call it our lifestyle line. Mm-hmm. We do have stuff that just has our logo on it, and that's great, but we want to try to find things that people can wear anywhere they go. They go to the bar, they go out for dinner, they go to a social event, they can wear our gear, and it doesn't look like they're going to a sporting event all the time.
And you kind of tricked some people at April Fool's Day, didn't you?
Yeah, that was actually really awesome. So every April 1st, obviously it's April Fool's Day, and we come up with like something funny. I think one year we said after Snoop Dogg did the boxing commentating that we were going to hire him to be our commentator. This past April Fool's Day we did, Paul Bissonnette was going to be signed for a 3-game stint.
Nice.
But okay, yeah, it was 2022. Yeah, we came out with April 1st that we were going to change the team name to the Rose City Timber Tigers. And Bubba, you would not believe it, the amount of people that wrote in asking for refunds in their season tickets.
Whoa!
Because they're like, this is the most ridiculous name. How would you change your team name to this? And my response to every email is, what's today's date? But my favorite thing on the on Facebook was, or any social, was I told our social media team, I said, if anybody asks or writes in the comments, you know, haha, April Fools, you write, who's April and why is she fooling? And we played it up like we were actually changing our team name. We changed our website, we changed our social media, everything was changed. And it was only for April 1st, and then now I said the refund for season tickets, but then on the flip side, the amount of people saying, oh my God, this is the best name I've ever heard. We were using hashtag go nuts, and like all this kind of ridiculous things. And then we decided, you know what, this is actually pretty cool. Let's put some hats on for sale, pre-sale. Well, we sold like hundreds and hundreds of hats.
What?
Yeah, crazy. And then so last year we played a few games as the Rose City Timber Tigers. This year we'll play 2. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it became popular. Actually, it was one of our players' like favorite uniform to wear at times. And we actually, another hashtag was hashtag get monked. Mm-hmm. And our players started using that in all our stuff. And yeah, it was crazy.
Well, I mean, the mastery of social media, it's an important part of being in contact with your fans, right?
Huge. I mean, we put a main focus like this year, hired Mia, who does all our social media now, especially on game day. So what we do in our game day social media, especially on Instagram, is we capture every kind of great touch point during the game. So any kind of promotion, any cool thing in the crowd, stuff like that. So if you're not at the game, you've never been to one of our games, and you stumble upon our Instagram, you'll see the story from that game and go, oh my gosh, that is the most fun I've ever seen. I got to go check this out. Oh, and look, it's only $15. Like, anybody could do that. And that's the thing. We actually had a conversation the way here with my one of my business partners about, you know, our concession prices. A beer is $8. Where I think you go to the Rogers Center, I think it's 16. Something like that.
$20.
Something like that.
It's $20. Leaf game's $20 for a glass of wine or a beer.
So I just, you know, I get it to a point, but we're not about nickel and diming people and taking advantage of people that way. My whole thing with the business is I'm not in the business to make money. I'm in the business for experience and making sure people are happy and things like that. Now, inherently, once I do that, yes, I'll make money, you know, to live kind of thing. But that's not my main.
Franchise has to survive.
Yeah, my main driver is not to make money. I'm there to sell out every single game and make sure every single person that's in that game is happy. And that's the main focus. I tell my staff all the time, we have kind of an internal motto, fans first, fun always. So there's 2 questions come into play in everything we do. Is it fans first? Are the fans going to like it? And is it fun? If you can't answer those two things on anything we do, we don't do it. So right now we have a big problem is our concession. We have a big issue there. We are working on getting that fixed.
As in, like, too many people now are going to the game?
Saturday night we had 3,200 people in the park. Too many. So we're actually going to bring that back to 3,200 people. That's what the building can really handle. And we're hoping that the lines are not going to be 45 minutes long, because I know if I went to an event, I had to spend half an hour in a line to get a beer, or 45, I would say no.
You could miss probably 2 innings.
I'm good. Yeah. So, and don't get me wrong, we're not going to, fix it overnight kind of thing, because this is a problem in every sport venue in the world. But we're going to, take some steps in the right direction so that it's less and less and less every game.
Do you ever go to like a Blue Jay game and just kind of compare it?
I went to one Blue Jay game this year. I do go around and I check out what they're doing, because I think we can scale it to our level for sure. For example, we did mobile ordering for concessions last year. They do it. They do it better because they have instructions and all that stuff. So I take pictures of everything, and I'm going to use it there. I don't think I would go back to a Jays game,
really,
to be honest with you. The hassle of getting there, the price to pay, all that kind of stuff just turns me right off. I have no interest of doing that. Where if I didn't own the team and the team was down the street for the Jackfish, I could just walk or drive there within 10 minutes or 15 minutes and get home in a decent time. The Jays game I went to in April, I shouldn't have done this, but I drove down because I thought I could leave a little bit early from the game and get home in a decent time. It took me an hour and a half to get out of downtown Toronto. Not the Jays' fault. There's construction, but it's a pain. And then I have to drive down there, spend money on parking, and then the first thing you do when you get in there is get a beer, and it's $14. Even with a free ticket, because I went with a free ticket, I was still kind of, I don't know if I need to go again this year.
Well, it goes right back to, like you said, the experience, which is not just always the game, it's everything around it.
Yeah.
And you're right, driving into Toronto nowadays, it's something I like to do a lot, and I haven't done it in a while because it's just not worth my brain power.
No.
Really.
I know, and it doesn't help that their team is, the roster is a little, shaky and stuff like that.
They're not good.
They're not very good, no. But that's the thing I say all the time is your team is not going to be good every single year. So what do you got to do to entice fans to come when your team's not good? And that's what we do in Welland. Our team's been good, obviously, every year we've been here. But we put so much emphasis on the entertainment part that if you don't like baseball, it doesn't matter. You're not there for, if you watch one inning or the whole game, does not matter. You're going to have a good time. That's why we do so many things. And, when we first came in the league, I think we irked a few people because we weren't traditional. We weren't doing traditional things.
Right.
We were doing things that were not normal, outside the box, some stuff that rubbed people the wrong way, which if that's the case, we,
like kissing a jackfish.
I don't think people really cared about that, but I don't think people liked how much time we were taking doing on-field promos and the funny stuff like that. But I think people need to realize that is what's driving in the majority of our fans.
That's right. Especially the young ones.
Especially the young ones. We do a thing now called Conti's Collision with these 2 giant inflatable bubble soccer balls, and we have them run into each other, and it's hilarious. And a lot of the feedback we got last year when people were leaving was, what a great show you guys are putting on. Not, oh my God, what a great catch, or that home run was amazing, or this and that. It was, what a great show. So at that point, my demographic isn't just baseball fans, it's the entire population of Niagara, because I have something for everybody. You don't have to like baseball or not. I had a gentleman who never been to a baseball game, and he loves it because it was so much fun. It wasn't because of the baseball game, right? So.
Well, and here's the bonus part of what you're seeing. We're seeing some of the fun things that are going on in the entire race there. That's spectacular. Whoever thinks about this stuff is that from the time you get in there at 2019, your team is pretty good.
Yeah.
And then then you have the COVID. 2021, you're really good.
We're all right.
And then 2023.
Yeah,
and the playoffs, that must have been just epic. Those series against Toronto and Barrie were amazing.
Oh, it was crazy. I actually should have brought our championship ring, which I was really proud to be able to design, and the guys loved it and everything like that. But go there in Game 6. It's on the screen right now. Go there in Game 6 in Barrie and win it there like we did. 17-1 was unbelievable.
After so many close games, the whole series.
Well, and the craziest part about this, the thing, we go back to the fans of Welland. Again, kudos to them. We had easily 500-600 people drive up to Barrie to watch us win the championship. They didn't get on a bus with us or anything like that. They drove themselves.
Up to 400.
And then the best part is I ended up jumping on the team bus to come back. And we didn't get back to the stadium till 2:00 in the morning, and there was 200 to 300 people waiting for us.
Spectacular.
Kids, even, waiting. It's kind of like
that's their team
championship welcome thing. It was the most wild thing I've ever seen. And for us, we knew coming from Burlington to Welland it would be better. We didn't know it was going to be like this, and I can't take full credit for that. We do a lot of marketing, all that kind of stuff. Full credit is Niagara's just different. Coming from Burlington to Niagara, it's just different. People rally around things better there. Support just seems better there. All that kind of stuff, because I think there's less to do. Like mainstream big things to do. Where in Burlington we had a lot of people come up to us and say, why would I go to a Jays game when I could just go to your game for a fraction of the price? And my kind of response was, because you can. It's right there. And for the most part in Burlington, disposable income is a little bit higher, so to be able to get on a GO train and go to a Jays game is not going to hurt you that bad, and it's not going to take as much time. So it's just a really, really cool thing we got going on there, and we're just trying to sustain it now.
You climb the ladder. Now we are in 2014, and now the Jackfish are the hunted. Different feeling?
Maybe for the guys. I don't think for me. I look around at what other teams are doing. So I'm on the business side. This is, our message to our staff and our players, and there's no pressure. We won the championship. Pressure's off. Let's have fun. Let's play relaxed. All those kind of things. Because I think when you see the players, and like last year, for example, it took a lot of time, a lot of effort to win that championship, obviously, right? And very, I wouldn't say stressful, but it was a lot tighter feeling, right? So now guys are looser. They're playing with more, just stress-free, I would say. Of course, you want to repeat. Who doesn't? Of course we do. And we have the team to do it, I believe. So my thing is more for there's teams. We got the new team in Chatham. They're doing a lot of cool things. Hamilton and stuff like that. We led the league in attendance last year. We want to do that again. And that's my side of things, is how do I elevate my show or my entertainment package so that no one can even come close to what we're doing. And that's what we're trying to push the envelope more and more and more on that. I say every year we're going to turn the dial up to 11, and the dial keeps going and going and going, because we don't stop. We try a million different things, and what works sticks, what doesn't we just put back in the closet. But like we did we got a t-shirt cannon this year. So I home up. I wish I had a video of it. We shot like 5 t-shirts off the dugout. Well, the first one I shot, I didn't realize how powerful the thing was. I shot it right over the building. It's gone. Like it just flew. And you sit there and go, oh, like, good thing I didn't point that at anybody.
Cool. Just a second here. Do the people realize that if they see you that you're the president?
They do now.
Or do they don't think this is just some guy that's being hired to go out and do crazy stuff?
Well, the people that have been there before, they do now. They realize that I'm the president, I own the team, all that kind of stuff. And when we do pizza giveaways, I wear a pizza suit. I do it. And that's what I think I like people to realize in Welland is when you're supporting our team, you're not just supporting some person that owns the team and is a cajillionaire and lives on a beach somewhere and shows up from time to time to the game and sits up in the booth and stuff like. No, I'm in the crowd. I'm on the field doing the field. I'm in the concession stand when I need to. All those kind of things. Like I'm there, and I think Eric's the same kind of way at his games in Hamilton. So they get to see you, and I'm in the crowd on the in-game host too. And I wear a crazy outfit. There I am. There, yeah, there I am. Wearing hot dog suits. I did wear the hot dog suit. My field manager was
with the crazy clothes too.
Yeah. So you're supporting a family too. Like, my family comes to the games, my daughters, my wife, all those kind of things. So I think that's kind of a cool thing than just supporting some conglomerate that owns a team or some no-name person that owns a team. So we're grateful for everything we get.
Final thing here. And you brought it up, you've kind of rubbed on it a little bit here. What you don't know is that next week, in fact, 1 week from today, there's a ball in a glove there. Yeah. What does it say?
Hamilton Cardinals?
The Hamilton Cardinals. Yeah. The equivalent of you will be here.
Yeah.
That's a fun thing that you guys have sort of established. I don't know how it started or whatever. I see it on social media. I don't know. Is it a rivalry?
I don't think so. I mean, I talked to Eric quite a bit. We talk about, any issues we have with our buildings, how we're doing this, how we're doing that. So we pick each other's brains. We're again, on the field, there's rivalries. They want to beat each other, all that kind of stuff. Behind the scenes, we're all partners in this league. We're all trying to make it better. So if, another owner in our team wants to call me and ask me a question about something, and if for a great example, I was on the phone today with Scott Dart, who owns the London Majors, asking him questions about his concessions, how he handles big crowds and all that kind of stuff. So we're only here to help each other. So I don't feel any rivalry with them at all. Kind of thing. I mean, the players obviously do. That's their side of things. But they're doing great things over there. Kudos to them. I think they're completely rejuvenating baseball in Hamilton, and I hope anybody watching this will go check them out. I know there's a lot of Hamilton viewers of this show and that kind of stuff. So please go check them out. They're doing great things, and I wish them all success.
Even in Toronto, I mean, there's a bit of a rival at Jack Domenico Park, and I know they had their first game of the season, and I guess it was on last Sunday or Mother's Day, actually, or something like that, and like Rick Emmett from Triumph, and like a lot of people involved, and the Rod Black, who we've had here a couple of weeks ago on Sportsline, like, again, I love what's happening. When I first started here at CHCH, and I believe the Hamilton team at the time were called the Thunderbirds at the time. And, we're trying to promote it and whatever. And I'm not going to lie, and this is nothing against the people that were running it or whatever. I think you would see this to understand this to be true. It just wasn't. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. You tried to make it a big deal. I tried to give scores on TV. I don't think anyone really, it wasn't a big deal to them. And now all of a sudden, it's, forgive me here, the IBL's cool now.
Well, that's the thing. Like, when I first got in the league, it was an afterthought. No one really, I mean, there's a few teams that got a little bit of fans, but for the most part, it was pretty, especially, I mean, probably in the 80s and early 90s, probably it was bigger. There's a lot more fans going to games, stuff like that. And then probably early 2000s till probably up until 2022 when we came back from COVID, it really was kind of like a little bit of an afterthought. Now it is, you're right, it is cool. To be able to support your own team in your own town, and some of the players that we get and the imports and stuff like that make it kind of cool, that kind of thing. And then, I think every team for the most part has elevated their game day experience. Where before you used to just go to a game, gates open, here's the game, couple of announcements, 50-50, go home. Where I don't think there's a team in the league now that doesn't do an on-field promo or do a giveaway or do things like that. Like we have, for our team, we used to do a couple giveaways a year. This year we have 17 out of 21 games with a giveaway. 2 are bobbleheads. So, I never thought I would ever do things like that because it just wasn't there to be able to do. And I think you're going to see, 5-10 years down the line, we're going to be up there with, I wouldn't say the CFL of baseball, but we're going to be more mainstream than people realize.
Well, I think that's what you want to do. I think coming from a Jackfish, fish perspective, being the big fish in the small pond is sometimes a lot better, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. And I don't really think about, I help the league out as much as I possibly can, but my obviously main focus is our team and making our team the most well-known. Not so much trying to make the IBL the most well-known. It's, if I get my team to the pinnacle of what I want it to be, then the league will be known. Absolutely. As well with that. I'm not trying to put the league on our back and move them up. It's just, but great example is, which I hear a couple cues from, is Savannah Bananas. Everybody knows who those guys are. They didn't really promote their league on a league level. They promoted themselves and made them this over-the-top entertainment thing.
I've shown highlights here on this show.
They're over the top, and they're doing something completely different than I would do. They're kind of doing like a Harlem Globetrotters type thing with baseball, which is working for them. They're selling out Fenway Park. Like, it's working. So I just want to – I take a little bit of ideology from a few different teams and mesh it into our own thing in Welland, and I want to make us the biggest well-known baseball thing in Ontario. And hopefully with that, then the league can get some more eyes on it too, especially in our area, right? So, yeah.
Well, Ryan, you kind of hooked into something, and it's turning into something good. It's good for sport. It's good for community. I'm happy to hear that your community is following along in what you have done, because I'm sure, like I said, you got to take the chances and you had to spend some money and whatever. But the fact that the community have gathered, they've bonded, you've won a championship. As you said, the rest of the league has all of a sudden become very, very cool. You've started something which is really, really interesting. I look forward to continuing to follow it. Hope you can come back.
Oh, yeah.
And we can talk about maybe another championship or maybe a Hamilton and Welland. IBL final. Boy, that would be a lot of fun for people in this area. But again, congratulations on what you've accomplished. I know you're not going to kind of just ride on it. You probably got something else in that brain of yours that's coming up soon.
It's not mission complete until we sell it every single game. So we'll get there.
Good luck there, partner.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Oh, folks, that's your Sportsline Podcast for Wednesday, May 22nd. As you've seen and heard, we love talking high-level local sports. If you do know of an athlete, team, or event to promote, the Sportsline Podcast want to hear from you. Please hit that 5-star thumbs up, like, and subscribe button. And if you do have something to say, please comment. We appreciate it. For the talented people that make the Sportsline Podcast possible, thank you so very much. And we'll see you tomorrow.